Mentis Wave. I've seen this guy post on Twitter. I've retweeted him, quote tweeted him, whatever. Not retweeted, I've quote tweeted because I disagree with a lot of his opinions. I decided to look at his channel real quick and just see what we got because somebody made a suggestion in the Discord server. If you would like to make a suggestion in the Discord server, you may. You just have to join the Discord server using the QR code on the screen or going to the link in the description below. If you're watching on YouTube. If you're in chat, there's no QR code. Anyway, Mentis Wave. So I just decided to go with a suggestion because, you know, it's long, but I probably won't watch it all anyway. And if it's interesting, then maybe I will. It's called Documenting BreadTube's Fall into Insanity. Now, I assume that I am probably included in BreadTube if he's including people like Vosh and Destiny, which I'm sure he is. Anybody who's like generally left-wing is basically called LeftTube, but apparently we've fallen into insanity. Now, I'm not going to be one who does not criticize the left because there are plenty of critiques you can make of the left and such and so on. But generally speaking, I don't trust right-wing critique of it for the most part. We'll just see. Mentis Wave, I believe, is a right-wing libertarian. Yeah, right libertarian, which just means that they don't want any laws. They'd rather live in, what is it called? Feudalism with warring tribes, because that's what libertarianism's all about, baby. First come, first serve, unless my gun's bigger than yours. And then I was actually here first, and you were never here at all. Anyway, let's begin. As it should be. Worry not, for Santa doesn't believe in you either. Anonymous.
Hey, internets.
That's deep.
Happy holidays and a Merry Christmas to y'all. This video is going to be documenting BreadTube's fall into obscurity and insanity as a result of them not really understanding what's going on with the world. And I'll also be providing some additional bonus refutation.
I think leftists understand too well what's going on in the world. I think they understand it so well that they don't care to understand what's going on around them.
Said that I haven't touched on yet, as well as what we can hopefully all...
We're learning about why BreadTubers are ass or something from this guy. What's his name? Mentis Wave.
Learn from this.
Sounds like a brand of mint. Mentis Wave? Or like an edible. Get the Mentis Wave. You get this Mentis Wave, you'll be seeing colors.
Because it's nice
Yeah, wait, you see colors anyway.
to end the year with a bit of a white pill. And what better white pill than the fact that BreadTubers are kind of slowly losing their mind as they drift off into irrelevance. As well as just going over the philosophy of what this can tell us about the human condition in general. But first, here's a quick rundown for those of you who don't know what BreadTuber
Is this what his thing is? Like, he's like a ring, like a sonic ring with an eye in it? It's an interesting... I'd like to know the origin of that. SpaghettiOs ring with the eyeball.
is if you just kind of randomly clicked on this video and this is the first time you're hearing about it. BreadTubers are basically communist and socialist content creators, particularly the ones that gained a lot of internet fame in the last 7 years or so.
That means I count. I'm not here. Second Thought, Vosh, ContraPoints, Hasanabi, all much larger names than myself.
The message of each individual BreadTuber slightly varies, but for the most part it boils down to saying that the government is corrupt and the solution to this is more government, and that our entire economic system should be replaced by the fever dream of a college freshman majoring in underwater queer dance theory. And if you disagree with any of this, then well, you're a newtsie. Which, on a
This is all a very big straw man, my dude.
surface, that may sound like I'm making a straw man, but sadly...
Yes, you're right. It does sound like it. Yes. Yes.
When you begin to actually understand what they're saying and the logical conclusions of it,
That's just
you
what I was
slowly
thinking.
start to realize that that is a completely accurate depiction. In fact, I have an entire playlist of videos I've made dedicating to refuting BreadTubers, as the only way to defend this kind of ideology is...
I wonder if he's made any about me. Has Mentis Wave made a video about Alec Gunter? No Mentis Wave. I've not been recognized yet. Mentis Wave, I'm here. We have a very small guy named Regular Josh 1. I don't know who that is. I don't endorse. The Mary Chew, I know that person. Okay, no Mentis Wave video on Alec Gunter yet.
Is of course through lies, deceptions, or just objectively
We can hope,
flawed,
though.
to sometimes just
Mentis Wave,
completely
notice me.
bizarre arguments that would ordinarily just be obviously self-contradictory to any
How it
rational
feels to chew
person.
5
And yet,
gum.
because BreadTubers got really good at making those bad arguments with style,
Destiny, since when was Destiny a leftist? He's wrapped in with the left, okay? We have the unfortunate burden of having Destiny thrust upon us.
a lot of people fell for the nonsense anyways. And so in a way, this video is just going to be kind of a light-hearted review of the nonsense as well. But first of all, here's a last-minute thing you can buy for Christmas that will make the internet safer and more useful for you. Because he's a BreadTuber that is capable of occasionally making somewhat decent fact-based content. Or at least content that is somewhat interesting. He somewhat made a name for himself by defending feminism and refuting some rightoids. But the problem is he didn't really do it very well. I think...
No, I know who Metatron is, trust me. He's made 2 videos on me.
Like I've said before, the main thing about feminism that just about nobody really got, the actual problem with it, is that freedom and liberty is compatible with what feminism claims to be, but not really compatible with what it actually is. And Sean's defense of feminism just, of course, completely ignores this and defends feminism from the standpoint of what it claims to be.
Isn't this World of Warcraft? Is this not Warcraft? Am I going to get canceled for saying this is Warcraft? No! No, you idiot! No, it's not Warcraft! No! No! It's buttfuck craft 9/6, the 9th edition with DLC. Oh, you don't even know what Warcraft is.
Even though that's not really what anybody who has actual genuine criticism of feminism has to say about it.
I assume that's
and then, of course, his refutation of some rightoids on the 1776 report and the bell curve had some good points. The problem with him, as many people have pointed out by now, is that he just kind of went over the line. For every good point,
the left argues slavery was an economic blessing. Here's why they are wrong. Well, okay, listen, man. What better price do you get for employees than free? Like, you give them the bare minimum they need to survive and work for you all day the next day. That's what that's what they're grinding for all the time. Like, that's why they're trying to lower and or stagnate your wages. They're trying to bring you in for more hours at a time for less pay, okay? They're trying to make you do more work. Notice they love firing people, okay? They love laying people off, but they very rarely reduce the workload at all, right? Fewer people, more work means that fewer people, like, if you have fewer people, but you're somehow generating more money with fewer people, that means that those fewer people are doing way more work for the same amount of pay. The end goal of that is slavery.
He made 3 to 4 disingenuous points. And as for what he's doing nowadays, it seems the main problem is that he has unfortunately fallen into
wage
J.K.
slavery.
Rowling derangement
the same thing.
syndrome. You know, the writer of Harry Potter. And how
technically, if you get paid a penny an hour, that's wage slavery. You're getting paid a wage.
How she is now literally bad mustache man because she disagrees with far left progressivism's basic stance on transgenderism, even though she agrees with them on pretty much everything else. Which is kind of sad, really, because it's honestly just not even worth refuting. Maybe it's because I'm a Hoppian libertarian and not really your bog standard conservative.
I love libertarians who are against trans people because it's like, why do you call yourself a libertarian? Do you just want to, like, you know, have slaves? You know, and screw children. Like, is that what, like, what's this really about?
Seriously,
what's it really about?
I just don't care. I find it really, really hard to care about this stuff. It just doesn't have the same intellectual relevance behind it as his previous videos did. But there is something interesting we can learn from Sean's more recent videos, which is that some breadtubers have taken on this very interesting strategy of making their takes refutation-proof by simply making them absurdly long. Which, in his defense, Sean has made many absurd...
Okay, leftists are famous for making absurdly long videos. That's true.
Long videos
I'm no stranger to that.
Right here just kind of takes it to another level, being 4
That's
hours
crazy.
long. It's
I remember the famous streamer Keffels, formerly known as Keffels. I think she's still Keffels, but she uploaded like an 8-hour video about the drama going on with her. It was nuts.
Basically, the video essayist version of the Gish Gallop makes several hours of the kind of flawed but pedantically half-correct arguments. You know, the kind of arguments that take longer to refute than it.
Okay, I'll say he would be correct, except he's correct if these leftists then don't go on to, like, have to be willing to discuss this, like, personally and summarize it. You know what I mean? Like, if you went and talked to these people, they'd be able to, like, summarize their viewpoints. You know what I mean? I guarantee you most of them would be able to. Now, if they refuse to, they're like, you can just go watch my 4-hour video, Sweaty. I made a 4-hour dissertation on this entire topic about why I think racism is wrong, Sweaty. Go watch it, Sweaty. Yeah, well, then, yes, I agree. But for the most part, they're willing to summarize and explain their content.
Takes for to say them, thus making a fully comprehensive response to your video
I'll do it in their stead.
Impossible, or at least just unnecessarily time-consuming. But for the sake of it, here's an excerpt from one of his recent videos that I'd like to go over, where he tried and failed to refute the fact that there's a lot of wokeness present in the games industry these days.
I have a lumbering suspicion that many of these characters ended up on here simply for not being white. I mean, Billy Lurk from Death of the Outsider just looks like a fashion model or something.
If you look at AAA gaming, beautiful women are the most marginalized and underrepresented segment of the market. From Grums.
Simply for not being white. I mean, Billy Lurk from Death of the Outsider just looks like a fashion model or something in that picture. There's an obvious point about appropriateness in character design to be made here. Xenia from Assassin's Creed looks like an imposing pirate captain.
Okay, I see what's happening. So somebody else is talking about Grums' statement on this. And yes, he's not wrong. A lot of these characters simply just are black and have an unflattering or Asian and have an unflattering still shot of them. Yeah.
Because she is. This other character from Rage 2, who I suspect also made it into the collage just because she...
But, like, also, it's just worth pointing out, it's not even about the colorism or anything, or, like, the racism. It's about the fact that, like, they're not characters that are there for you to want to... They're not there for your sexual gratification. So, like, whoever does... Like, if it's important that they are sexually gratifying to you, I promise you, the person making the game will take that into consideration and then make them sexually gratifying to you. Okay? It's been done many times with many games, and you can find them. They're out there. I believe in you, sport. Okay? If you want a game to fab to, go find one that's not one of these. There's many of them out there.
Shouting looks like some sort of...
Same thing with men. Go play Date Everything. Okay? Date Everything has no shortage of hot guys.
Post-apocalyptic Mad
that are
Max
specifically
style
there for you to want to...
Because she is. You know, these characters look like what they are. The now classic example of appropriateness in video game character design is this Twitter post from 2021 complaining...
This is so funny. It's so funny because, like, what are you doing? Why would... Like, I know this character loosely. Like, she's like some wilderness creature. Like, she's literally, like, out there roughing it in the wild. What's she doing with a full face of makeup? Where did she get it? What do you... Like, why does her hair look pristine? No, she's... Like, just... Like, okay, it's so funny to me because these same people, like 2 years ago, not even 2 years ago, were bitching and moaning about how women always got to wear their makeup. They always wear their makeup. They so fake. They wear their makeup. They do their hair up in pretty ways and wear high heels. They so fake. But here they are adding makeup to a makeupless woman. Like, what? Pick a lane, brother.
About Sony's apparently masculine-looking female protagonists. Pick from the game on the left, fan-made on the right. Hire fans.
Also, once again, like, she's not there for you to want to...
Lol, says the poster.
I'm so over
this.
The
picture on the left shows Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn, and the picture on the right shows an Uncanny Valley Photoshop job of Aloy with a full face of makeup and perfect teeth.
Yeah, so there's immediately a post on X that's been...
What's with the fake laugh, brother? If you're gonna laugh, do it
going
for
around
real.
recently that
Stop,
comes to
like,
mind.
listen to this. Listen to this.
Yeah.
You sound like a horse, brother. You're not laughing. You're like...
There's immediately a post on X that's been going around
BoJack
recently
Horseman
that comes
over
to
here.
mind. It's amazing how much leftist discourse is just them pretending not to understand things, thus making discourse impossible. That's sadly pretty much the feeling I get when watching some
Like
of
what?
Sean's more recent videos. With the clip I just showed...
Okay, if I pretend not to understand something, it is purely a debate strategy to get you to think about what you just said. Okay, not even a debate strategy; it's a discussion strategy. It is a tool that I use to teach you things. Okay, like when people tell me, "Oh, you just think that men should be allowed to use women's restrooms," I'll say, "I never made that claim." Or like, "Well, you think trans women should be allowed in women's restrooms?" Yeah, I do because I think they're women. Now you're just pretending like you don't know what I mean. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I never said that men should be allowed in women's restrooms. I never made that claim in this entire discussion. You inserted that. I don't know where you got that from. Like, and obviously I'm like trolling them a little bit, obviously. But, like, think about it for 2 seconds. I never made the claim that men should be allowed in women's restrooms in that particular discussion, okay? I do believe in some cases they should be, but, like, for the purposes of that particular discussion I was having, right? Like, I never said that. It's, like, that's when I pretend not to understand things, to get you to think about the thing that you just said. Because you're not treating my position with the charitability that it deserves. And yet you want me to sit here and be charitable to you, okay? You don't let them control the conversation anymore, okay? Don't let them set the terms. You never said that men should be allowed in women's restrooms. Don't let them lie like that.
Hour-long rant, basically whining about Grums. And of course, he's just completely ignoring the central point of what Grums is saying. The issue with wokeness in game design is, of course, the ideological reasons behind why these certain things are being done. It's not so much that a character design is ugly that's the problem. It's why the character has been made ugly. And it's certainly not for more realism as Sean is trying to portray here.
Hold on, what did he say?
Why the character has been made ugly. And it's certainly not for more realism as Sean is trying to portray here. It's actually something known as woke puritanism, something I've done a video on before. It's basically just misandry. The entire...
Puritanism? You couldn't even get the name of your video right? Woke puritanism. Puritan. That's your video, brother. That's your video.
Thing I've done a video on before.
Listen, I'm not trying to nitpick, but like that's your video. That's your baby. It's got 65K views. You can't get the title right. You're literally reading off a script. You read it wrong. Redo it. Redo it. Like that should...
Basically just misandry. The entire issue is that the reason they're doing it is effectively a form of so-called...
Why do you expect me to take you seriously if you can't even take your own content seriously? You mispronounced the content of your own content.
Beta male shaming. Men who like video games are viewed by the ruling class
Beta male
as lay
shaping?
nerds, and so they're
Lay
not
nerds.
allowed to enjoy things, because men bad. And Sean is just completely ignoring that side of the conversation. Instead,
Wait, whoa. Hold on. What?
viewed by the ruling
Men who like video games are viewed by the
class
ruling
as lay
class.
nerds, and so they're not allowed to enjoy things, because
Okay, so like, why are they making video games for video game people? Because like, wouldn't it be easier to just not make the video games? Like why engage in this art if the only point of the art is to get one over on people who enjoy the art? What are you like? You're still giving them art. You're still feeding them. Like, what is this ass backwards logic? Like, and on top of that, what do they get out of this? What do they get out of sticking it to the primary audience that they're appealing to? That's how they make their dime, brother. Like, that's how they make their money. What are you talking about?
men bad. And Sean is just completely ignoring that side
What
of
do
the
they get out of
conversation,
this?
instead resorting to typical midwit pedantry, while
I'm ignoring that side of the conversation now because I've been given no reason to give it any credit at all. Are you expecting consistency and actual thought out arguments from a libertarian? Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I think that he can be helped. Okay? He may call himself a libertarian now, but I know that deep down inside of him is a leftist just waiting to come out. Start believing in people.
pretending to not understand that the issue is essentially with the representative school of creative
I believe
writing
in you,
that
Mental
has
Slave.
infested the games industry.
You can do
where
it.
They now feel the need to inject tokenism into basically every game, which is kind of silly because when you realize it, you realize that woke puritanism is also an interesting form of leftist racism. And so thus the root of it is just the same old identity politics grift that has already been refuted 1,000 times by now, which is probably...
It's prejudice plus power, inequity, logically... Okay. Your first problem is like engaging in that bullshit in the first place, okay? It's very simple. I like good things, you like good things. Why don't your good things match up with my good things? Okay? It should, because at the end of the day, we both want good things for people. Like this whole, there are some leftists who are really annoying about, well, racism is actually systemic in structure. Like, there's two types of racism. There's systemic racism and there's individual racism. White people can experience individual racism, and they have before, but largely that happens as a result, especially in America, of systemic racism against black people, and they're trying to get one over on white people because that's how they get their power. That's power dynamics. That's what... that's racial power dynamics, and that's explored in a little thing called what's it called? Critical race theory. No, but that's a scary name. We can't do critical race theory, because if we actually sit here and examine like racism in all its facets and where it comes from, we come back to a conclusion that's different from what I think. And so therefore critical race theory is evil, and I don't like it. I don't know. Like, I know that was a tangent, but I hate this shit. Like, they're not serious. They're not serious.
Why so much of the discourse
It's
is
all for
just
the
them
drama.
pretending to not understand things. Because, of course, if Sean actually attempted to dive into this issue with any level of good faith, he would be forced to make those very arguments that, again, have been already refuted many, many times by now. So instead, he just kind of waffles on about nothing and pretends to not understand his own ideology, while making various irrelevant nitpicks. That's pretty much what I got from his more recent videos. So let's move on next to Destiny.
What were those dolls from, and why are they gone? They're here for 1 second, and then they're gone the next. Why are these dolls here?
Videos. So let's move
And
on
then they're
next
gone.
to
They're
Destiny,
gone.
who technically isn't really a bread tuber because he doesn't...
I knew Destiny would be in this. Who said that Destiny would... Like, somebody said, like, I brought up Destiny. I told you, he's lumped in with the left. We have to come to grips with that.
identify as a socialist, but he
I'm not saying we have to own him. I'm just, like, we don't have to... like, stand by him or anything. We just have to deal with
does
it.
have economic beliefs that effectively
'Cause that's the way it
have
is
a
right
logical conclusion in socialism, so close enough. Destiny's descent into final stage Trump
Might
derangement
never
syndrome
fucking go
madness
to
can be
slide. Thank
effectively
you.
summarized by this X post from him recently right here. It's a public building. It should never be privately funded ever. Which, if you don't know what this context here is, he's just talking about Trump renovating the White House with his ballroom using private funds, instead of renovating it on tax.
No, but that's true, because now Trump owns that effectively. He like owns that room of the White House now. You know what I mean? That's true. Like, the money that he is using, I don't like that. I don't like that
paradigm. And I honestly had to do a double take when I saw Destiny make this argument.
Stop
because
fake laughing.
I honestly cannot tell at this
I had
point
to
if
do
he's just
double
rage
take.
baiting and intentionally making bad arguments. Because this is unironically the silliest and worst argument I've seen.
Oh, he sounds like his voice is like a butterfly. It's so annoying to listen to. Like when he does that fake laugh. Just stop.
Someone with his level of clout make. I mean, I have heard people make this kind of argument before. It's something I like to call the word association fallacy, where because
I can't listen to him now because I'm just waiting for the next fake laugh.
two words are associated with each other, they are then portrayed as just automatically making a good argument. You know, it's kind of like saying, oh, blood is red, therefore murder is good so long as you kill people with a blood-colored knife, because they're both red or something really ridiculous like that. I've seen this argument before sometimes in my life, but it's usually coming from somebody who's not actually into politics or philosophy or reasoning or anything like that, because it's just an obviously really dumb argument.
Stop. Okay, I can't do it. I can't do it. I think I gotta be done. Did you hear that?
Into politics or philosophy or reasoning or anything like that, because it's just an obviously really dumb argument. And so
good lord, he sounds like a horse. Why? Don't let him rage bait. No, it's not the words that are coming out of his mouth. Like I'm just like he literally sounds like a horse.
Politics or philosophy or reasoning or anything like that, because it's just an obviously really dumb argument.
Stop. We don't need to hear your horse impression. That's not a real laugh. You can't convince me. Okay, Mentis Wave's laugh during his dialogue is fake. Change my mind. Show me the evidence that that's a real laugh. I hate people who do that. I've met people who do that. I've done it before. I'm guilty, okay? But it takes one to know one. I don't do it anymore. All of my laughing is authentic, okay? But the only reason I know that he's faking it is because I, too, have faked it. And I'm never doing it again because it's cringe as fuck.
And so seeing Destiny, of all people, making this kind of low level, again, that's just kind of why I half suspect that he has to be trolling here. Or maybe he's just completely crashing out. This argument is so bad, you can refute it by simply asking why. Why should the public building never be privately
Okay, because
funded?
Because once you say I privately funded something, you have ownership over it. Do you want Donald Trump to have ownership over a portion of the White House after he's done there? Okay? I don't like that. What else is Alec Gunter fake? My entire ideology.
He just stated it.
Surprise, I'm a conservative. Trans people or something.
And didn't provide any reason as to why. And of course he doesn't, because he doesn't have a reason. If you think about it for more than just 50 milliseconds, it becomes very obvious that this is a completely insane argument, because the only significant difference between public funding and private funding is whether or not it is voluntary. For instance, let's say you want to build a water fountain in the middle of the city. Which is a better way to fund the construction of this water fountain? Either A, getting voluntary...
Okay, what do you mean you want to build a water fountain? In which city? You want to build... Okay, so a person somewhere wants to build a water fountain in the city. Okay? This is a rather large water fountain. It will impede some things, perhaps. It's very pretty, though. Okay? But this is our city. You don't just get to decide to build a water fountain unless this is like a piece of land that we've said you can have and do what you want on it. Okay? If you're talking about building a water fountain in the city, this should be a democratically held process. We should all decide, yes, we want this water fountain, and we're willing to use whatever funds or means of, making it that we have. In my society, there'd be no money, as we know. But assuming we live in a society that still has money, right, we would say, okay, let's collectively fund this water fountain that we all want. Okay, yeah, an actual fountain. I also imagine a drinking water fountain. But I think that's a fine thing to want, but it should be democratically decided upon. Not just like one guy with the money to do it and says, well, I want my water fountain in the middle of the city. Now then, I come here with all this money that I made from my oil, right? The oil that my family's been sitting on for generations, you see. I say, and I want a water fountain here in the middle of my city. Now then, I think I see some people throwing up their noses, turning their backs on this here project. And I say, I don't like that very much. Like you get my point, right? It shouldn't just be one dude who fell into money that gets to decide whether there's a water fountain and where it goes. All this oil and none of profitizing off of it. The proselytizing, yeah, that's a fancy way of saying profitizing.
Donations from people who live in the city because they want a water fountain to be there, or
Flipping
B,
that.
going around and robbing people at gunpoint and forcing them to fund the construction of the water.
Whoa. Why the dreads though? Like, what's the point? Like, but you see what you're doing, right? Like, you get, like, you know what you're doing. Like, but you're not stupid, man. You're not stupid. Come on. You are not stupid.
Fountain, which is a more ethical way of funding the water fountain.
Stop
this. This is a real tough one. Gonna have to put 5 thinking
Do another
caps
fake laugh
on
for
to
me.
figure out this one.
There it is.
Yeah, getting people.
We got
Gonna
one.
have to put 5 thinking caps on to figure out this one.
There was. He's here. Have to do it.
Oh, yeah, getting
This is
people
funny!
to privately fund it is better, because it means people actually want it and are willing to spend their own resources on it voluntarily, as opposed to being forced to spend their resources on it. Public and private funding are both resources being spent. It's just how you get the resources.
Say the line, Bart.
Destiny's argument here is just a complete standard non sequitur. It's not even a real argument. It's just him mindlessly failing and trying to draw some loose association that because it's a public building, it should always be publicly funded. Because, I don't know, cactus divided by cat butt or
I'm not listening anymore.
When in reality, Trump renovating the White House using private funds should actually draw emphasis on the problem with public funds. Why should presidents be allowed to renovate the White House using taxpayer dimes?
Is this AI generated? It's AI generated! We got one! Dubsy, drop the thing. Pew, 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 pew. We got one, folks. We got one. I love it. I love everything about this. Okay? Beautiful. We got one. AI generated Donald Trump alert. Very good.
As a president, that means he gets to waste millions of billions of dollars of our money. The whole thing just shows why it's bad. And considering how Destiny has occasionally made decent arguments in the past, I sadly suspect that this really is just rage bait. It's a lot easier to get engagement on social media by intentionally posting stupid midwit stuff instead of posting actual content that requires a brain to understand. That's just kind of a sad reality of how the algorithm...
We got one. Once more.
It requires a brain to understand. That's just kind of a sad reality of how the algorithm works sometimes.
Okay, I just needed one more. We're good. We got it. Left bad. Libertarians good. I'm not fake laughing. That's Mentis Wave for you. That was his Christmas special. We've been waiting a long time. We've been waiting all year for Mentis Wave's Christmas special to drop. And now that it has, we can all have a wonderful night. Merry Christmas to all, and to all... BreadTube or something. Hi, thanks so much for watching and making it to the end of the video. I just wanted to let you all know that I love and appreciate everybody in my community, whether you can support me financially or just by liking, commenting, and sharing my videos. It helps way more than you know. That being said, I do want to give a very special thanks to my tier 4 subs, which would be Space Timid and Hot Take Andy. And thanks so much to my monetary subscribers from any of the tiered subs, or anybody who gives me money in any form, including going to my Patreon shop, donating money to me directly. It all helps way more than you know. If you do decide to help me financially, you can get some really cool perks like early access to content, exclusive access to censored videos, also some really cool badges next to your name. Even if you can't afford a monetary subscription, just watching, sharing, and commenting on my content helps way more than you know. Thanks again, and I will see you all in the next video.